He loves the game, he has fun with it, and he's very good at it.
I'm an agent provocateur.
Political strategist.
Controversial as you can get.
An incredible capacity for treachery.
Win-at-all-cost mentality.
When people think of Washington corruption, they think of Roger Stone.
Those who say I have no soul, those who say I have no principles, are losers. Those are bitter losers.
さあそういうことでトランプ大統領を作った男ロジャー・ストーンさん3度目の登場です。皆さん盛大な拍手お願いします。
He's completely unpredictable, and that's what made him a great leader on the world stage in terms of foreign affairs. But on domestic policies, he's very predictable. He was opposed to increasing taxes. He wanted to cut spending and waste. And for example, he insisted for the first time ever that our NATO allies pay their own share for their defense. We were paying for everybody, the French, the Germans, the Spanish, and so on. These countries are prosperous. NATO was set up after World War II at a time when America was very prosperous, but those countries were economically troubled. Today, they have rebuilt their strength, and Trump demanded from day one that they pay their fair share and they pay their arrears. In other words, what they owed for past payments they had missed. And NATO collected close to $650 million for their own defense. Why should we pay for the defense of Germany or the defense of France? It's one thing to be in an alliance with them, although perhaps that alliance has outlived its usefulness, but there's no reason why they should not pay their fair share. Now, what's interesting is Trump started saying this in 1988. Trump thought as early as 1988 that these big international one-size-fits-all trade agreements made no sense. That instead of all these nations being subjected to the same agreement, it was much better to go negotiate a separate trade agreement with Japan, a separate trade agreement with Poland, a separate trade agreement with Germany, a separate trade agreement with Argentina. Because a trade agreement, from Trump's point of view, has to be beneficial to both parties. You want an agreement that is good for you, but is also good for your partner. And the TPP, the NAFTA trade agreements, these were not beneficial to the United States. All they did was move our jobs in our manufacturing in our important economies abroad. So they were very good for our trading partners, but they weren't good for us. Trump was saying these things about NATO, about trade, about the need to rebuild our military strength as a deterrent to war. But he opposed shipping American troops to the Middle East for these other conflicts where you could not identify what the interests of the United States were. He started saying these things as early as 1988. I suggested, that's the first time I suggested that he should run for president. He told me I was out of my mind the first time I brought it up. I wanted him to run again in 2000. He did seriously think about running in 2000. Ross Perot, who was a billionaire who had run for president of the United States as an independent, urged him to run as an independent. He thought about it very seriously. He ultimately decided the timing was not right. He still had major real estate projects that he wanted to complete. He also concluded correctly that in America, we have a two-party system, Republicans and Democrats. Third-party candidates or independent party candidates have a very difficult time getting their name on the ballot in the various states. It's very expensive. It's very onerous. It's almost impossible. And they'll never let you in the debate. So we have televised presidential debates, which are hosted by an organization called the Presidential Commission on Debates. But the problem is it's not appointed by the president. It's not really a commission. And it's not about having a debate. It's about limiting debates. So in the last two presidential elections, we do have two minor parties, the Libertarian Party and the Green Party. In both cases, they were successful in getting on the ballot in enough states to theoretically win the 270 electoral college votes. Each state is assigned a number of votes to be elected president. But they were never allowed to be in the debate, so no one even knew they were running. In 2012, a poll was taken just before the election, and people were very unhappy with the choice between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, the Republican. And 71% of the people said they wished there was another choice. Well, there was another choice. There were two. The Green Party had a candidate. The Libertarian Party had a candidate. They both nominated strong candidates, but the media here would not cover them. They were not allowed in the televised debates. Literally, no one knew they were running. So Trump decided in 2000 that one needed to either be a Republican or a Democrat to be elected. And he looked at it again in 2012. He looked at it late. By the time he decided he was interested, Mitt Romney, who was an exceedingly weak candidate, had pretty much locked up the Republican nomination. And of course, in 2016, we finally had the perfect storm, where the man and the moment were exactly right. And it has changed the face of politics immeasurably. Prior to the election of Donald Trump, every president had either been a U.S. senator, a governor, a congressman, or a general. We've never had a businessman president, a business person president, until Donald Trump. But now that mold has been broken, and I predict that the most valuable asset for a person who wants to become president is simply being well known. See, Donald Trump was universally known in the United States before he got into politics. He was known as a businessman. He was known as an entrepreneur. He was known as a capitalist. And that obviously means that if you don't first have to educate the people as to who you are, you can then move to the second phase, which is to tell people what you stand for, what you believe in, what your policies will be. We have only had one president in our history who served one term and then lost a disputed election for re-election, and then came back to be president again. That was Grover Cleveland, and he was a New Yorker, just like Donald Trump is a New Yorker. You won't read this in the Japanese media, but
ここで終わ
いやー、いいところで終わったね。ありがとうございました。
り。イエーイ。楽しみですね。
TPP のこと言ってたでしょ。で、安倍さんが初めて世界の首脳に先駆けてトランプタワーに会いに行ったんだよね。その時、いろいろと陰でお手伝いさせていただいた流れがあったわけなんですけども、でつまり外務省には全くルートがなかったから、それでその時に散々その裏でねシナリオを書いてくれた人が、彼がゴルフクラブプレゼントしろとか全部書いて渡したんだけど、それで散々言われたのがね、安倍さんにこれだけは絶対言ってくれと、TPP の交渉は絶対するなって言ったよ。これだけこれを言ったらもう終わるよって。でもうこれ分かってるからと、トランプはもう TPP に合意しないから、これはもう分かりきってることだから、その話は絶対持ち出しちゃいかんということをね、前もって散々言われて、でもちろんその通りの助言を書いたものを安倍さんの手に渡ったんで、多分初めてトランプタワーに行った時にそういう話をもちろんしなかったと思うんですよ。でだから本当にうまくやったんで、すごくいい関係ができたと思うんですけど、
そうですね。
なんかそういうことを思い出しましたね。ということで、この世界の動きを、彼が第1回目のインタビューではっきり言ってたじゃん。今の戦いはロジャーストーンが、インサイダーとアウトサイダーの戦いで、もう共和党と民主党の戦いとかじゃないんだと、
言ってた。
支配してる人たちとそれ以外との戦いなんだっていうことで、世の中のこのグローバリズム全体主義へと向かっている今の流れに対する強烈な警鐘を鳴らしている一人でありますんでね、その世界の動きを分析するさっきのスーダン情勢も含めて、バイブルリアリティは大変おすすめな講座になっておりますので、ぜひとも皆さんバイブルリアリティにもいらしてみてください。
コモンコモンコモンコモンコモンコモンコモン。